With no further ado, I would like to bring up our very first company, and that's Adam Lazar, CEO, with Asarasi, a certified USDA organic plant-based water sourced from maple trees without compromising groundwater. So let's hear more about that.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. My name is Adam Lazar, and I'm the CEO and founder of Asarasi, if you've heard. Just try and say the name with me real quick. Use an Italian accent, it's a lot more fun. Asarasi, say it with me. Asarasi! Now, you're never going to forget it. You're going to wake up tonight, and you're going to, why do I remember that name? So anyway, I founded this company with the idea that we could replace the entire bottled water industry with a sustainable, renewable, plant-based source that can change the way we think about consumption of natural resources. Okay, so our mission is to replace that industry and add to the drinkable water supply while advantaging our nation's farmers that produce maple products. This is a byproduct of the maple industry, and we're taking the sugar-free maple sap and putting it in bottles. It's a biologically pure water product, and I hope you're enjoying some of that we brought. Now, the world is running out of fresh water. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone in this room, and yet many people in the world live with water scarcity. Myself personally experienced that in California during the drought for 6 years. And I thought to myself, what could one person do? And, that's a question we ask ourselves. What can I do, right? Does my vote matter? Does anybody care what I think? But I'm here to show you that, one person can do a lot. Now, bottled water being kind of a foolish idea on its face in the first place, creates major problems with the bottled water, or with the aquifers as well. And we're doing this in foolish places like bottling water from drought zones. And the reason for this is because it's a $200 billion bottled water market growing to $300 billion in just a few short years because people are giving up unhealthy beverage options for healthier options like bottled water. Now, for the first time ever, bottled water has overtaken soda in beverage history as the #1 consumed beverage. That's pretty impactful and incredible, thinking about soda as just sugar-flavored water in the first place. But there's also serious issues with quality and perceptions of quality in the industry. Just last week alone, LaCroix was sued for what's an insecticide in their products, in their natural flavors. I think the jury will have to determine if that's true or not. But where's your bottled water come from? Where's the source? Do we even know? And are there microplastic contaminations that we're finding all over the place? Now, we've created the world's only USDA organic certified plant-based water. Think about that for a second. All water is geologic by nature, and you go, wait a minute, I'm not the Lorax, I don't speak for the trees, but I guess in some cases I do. 25% of people are looking for that USDA organic logo on their bottled water. And the reason for that is because they don't trust anything that they're being given on the shelf today. And so whether or not all water is geologic, when it comes from a plant-drawn source, we're the first company to overcome that. Now, how this works is that maple farmers all over the United States, northeast United States and Canada more specifically, extract maple sugar-rich saps out of trees without harming the tree. It's like donating blood. The tree goes on and lives a normal, healthy life. And they extract that maple sugar by reverse osmosis, so they process it under high-pressure filtration, leaving 3% sugar, which they sell to the market as maple syrup and sugar candies, and they throw 97% of their crop away. And that's the form of sugar-free maple sap. So about 1 billion gallons goes wasted every single year, and that's where we come in. So you tap the trees. I experienced this personally. I took my daughter 10 years ago, almost to the day, to a maple farm in Vermont. And we saw them taking these saps out of the trees and taking the sugar out of the saps and throwing away all that hard work. And I asked the farmer, why don't you do anything with this? And he said, who would want it? It's just water. And then the light bulb went off. I said, wait a minute. There's a lot of thirsty people in the world, and we're doing foolish things. Why don't we do something smart? So here we are. Now, this is a sustainable, renewable source, and just to graphically represent this, 50 gallons of sap is taken from a tree, makes 1 gallon of sugar, and 525 equivalent bottles or 49 gallons is thrown away in this form. So what can one person do? Well, we signed up 110 family farms under long-term contracts representing 100 million gallons of this byproduct and giving people confidence and trust in their source, locating these co-packing facilities around this industry to be able to bring these bottled waters to market. Now, to give this an example, we can rival Pellegrino in their current volume today with what we have under contract and be a $1 billion brand with what we have under contract today, and we only have 10% of the source under contract right now. Our goal is to be 100%. This is a maple industry exclusive. You cannot do this anywhere else in the world, giving us not just a product competitive advantage in organic waters, but giving us a geographic competitive advantage. You cannot produce this anywhere else in the world. So an 800-mile radius around the center of Buffalo where one of our bottling partners are. Now, billion-dollar powerhouse brands, they can't do what we do. They can't innovate like we have. So I don't need to tell you who these folks are. You've probably drank most of these products regularly, and yet not one is organic. You may have seen organic maple water in the market, maple water being a sugar-rich sap product sold as a functional hydration beverage to athletes, kind of like coconut water. Again, it's a sugar-rich product with high calories, high price point. Doesn't really fit next to, say, a Pellegrino or a Perrier on the shelf. We are sustainability driven. We do not impact negatively the groundwater supply. We actually add to the drinkable water supply, which is very important. And we have a tremendous positive agricultural impact. So the farms that we partner with, if we use every single last drop of what's under contract today, each farm will earn an extra $110,000 a year each. So this is a tremendous opportunity for us to continue to do what we do, like have our cake and eat it too, buy bottled water, but do it with an impact, and do it at the same price, which is important. Over the last year, we've tripled our distribution. We are now opening up markets in the United Arab Emirates, Australia, Japan, and this growth is just skyrocketing for our company. I had to update the slide just today for a new distributor, Performance Food Groups, with 40 distribution centers in the U.S., who has just sent us our contract to distribute across the United States. With 1,500 retail locations, we've opened up 700 new stores in the past 90 days selling our products, including World Market right here in Bend, Oregon. So you can go down to World Market and buy our products. Current retailers reviewing us, Kroger, Costco, Target, to name a few. These are well-known household brands, and they will drive significant multi-million revenue growth for us in the next year. How do we sell? Well, we sell very well. We sell 3x the industry standard in some platinum retailers like Wegmans, which is what every retailer in the market looks at as an indicator of success. And so without any real promotion, without any real advertisement, or even real market awareness around our product, we're able to succeed. We have reoccurring distributor reorders, and that continues to grow. We've sold over 300,000 bottles to date. We have a 3-tier distribution model. We make the products, we make a 50% gross profit margin on our products. We sell them into wholesale, who then sells them to retail, and everybody makes what they need to make at a $1.99 average price point. Our products are sold as low as $1.49 to $1.99 in retail and upwards of $2.50 in food service. We're going to stay true to our roots. Products based on tree-based flavors. So anything that comes from a flavor from a tree will continue to be synergistic with our brand, as we are a tree-based source. Today we've built this company with a little over $750,000, most of which was won from business competitions, which allowed us to be very strategic about how we continue to focus our growth. Our next round of funding will make investments into people and operations and inventory to help us scale with these market opportunities. Now you may know this product, Real Tree or Fever Tree. We're the Real Tree. In fact, our growth drivers are sparkling waters, flat waters, new packaging, and new channels of distribution. We believe we can be a $100 million brand, just like Fever Tree did in the last 7 years, and that's where they are today, is $170 million. They only play in the non-alcoholic mixer space, and we can play non-alcoholic mixers. We can do a new age beverage. We can be in the Main Street water aisle at a number of different locations in store. So we're kind of shelf agnostic, so to speak. We can be in a lot of little places that most people in most brands cannot. Myself, I'm a former Army officer. I've been 20 years in consumer hard goods and soft goods, and now in packaged goods. Brian Perez, our Chief Marketing Officer, he came from Pepsi, launched One Coconut Water and Sobe Life Water for Pepsi. And Mike Hagan's coming on board with a new round of funding, who's the Global Director of Innovation at Coca-Cola. So we're kind of stealing these guys because we have such high interest in what we do. Great advisory board, notably Kent Pilikowski, who basically grew Essentia Water in the market, and notables like Albertson Safeway, et cetera. And we've won a number of awards over the last few years, almost $1 million in cash and prizes, half and half roughly, because of our sustainable and agricultural economic impact focus. And I guess that makes us really smart water when Edison Awards gives us an award for adaptive reuse. And this is the engagement that you're experiencing with our product for the first time here today. This is a school teacher who took her students on a field trip to see me speak at an engagement in Buffalo, found our product in the store, and shared the story with her students. And she felt it was so compelling and engaging that she could teach something that was really demonstrable to those kids, who could then learn something about social environmental impact, business, agricultural economics, and so forth. So I want to say thank you for taking the time to hear me today, and I would welcome any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam, for kicking off not just the impact track, but the whole Ben Venture Conference 2018 pitches on stage. Let us go to the panel for questions. Dan.
Nice presentation. Asked a lot of questions.
Thank you.
What do you view as the critical item going forward that will make you successful or could cause you to fail?
Truly capital. We're at a stage of exiting seed stage and going into growth stage, and that's really an important factor for our businesses. Not just finding the capital, but finding the right capital, strategic capital that understands our mission and shares our mission. And one of the reasons I wanted to be here in Bend was because we find a lot of like-minded people here versus other places in the world. So.
Thanks, Adam. This is Matt. Really impressed by your story. It's really inspiring, actually. And I was just shocked towards the end at how much progress you've already made with, I think, less than $1 million in funding. So that's just amazing. I haven't used the product up to this point, but I'd like to. I'm thirsty, actually. So let's find it. But quick question about the customer, the target customer. Like, who's the person? How would you describe your target customer, and why do they choose your product?
Yeah, well, clearly, sparkling water is a high growth category today, and everybody from my 4-year-old daughter up to folks our age drink sparkling water for convenience, for palate profile and taste, et cetera, and just fun. Bubbles are fun, but we've really focused on the female demographic, 22 to 44. They tend to be the shopper in their household. They tend to be the ones that are buying the LaCroix and Spindrifts and Pellegrinos and serving that to their families. So that's who we focus on as our core customer.
And do they choose it for impact reasons? Do you find that? Like, do people pay a premium because it's organic or because it's perceived to be a charitable or an impact, a positive impact on the world?
I think we've seen that in the marketplace with brands like Patagonia or Tom's Shoes or other, but we try not to be a premium price. We try to be a premium value so that people can overcome price sensitivity immediately. And $1.49, $1.99, it's the same kind of average price point for anything. So we really hope people get past that and say, here's the impact that we're buying.
So, given the fact that it's plant-based water, that's something new for a lot of people. Do you find that it takes a lot of time to educate your potential customer?
Yeah, in some cases we do, right? But the discovery is in that educational moment, like you saw with the school teacher. It's oh, what is this new sparkling water brand, and what are they all about? And so when suddenly they read the back of the bottle and, oh wow, the story's there, and I can really get into that, and it tastes great, and I'm enjoying this as an equal alternative to what I'm consuming in other brands, that education tends to naturally happen, and we get a lot of consumer-to-consumer kind of advocacy as a result of that.
One other question. How do you expect your competitors to respond to you guys being in the marketplace?
There's, so far we haven't seen a response. We're still under their radar, just given our size. But I would see that as a strategic exit for our company long term. They can't innovate in the way that we do. And I think that's a great opportunity for them to say, dear Nestle or dear Pellegrino, here's an opportunity for the organic water category on a platter, and we can make sure you do the right thing because we're helping you absolve yourselves for some of the sins you currently have. So, yes, it's an opportunity for us.
Last question for me. If you were to, achieve significant funding in the next year, how would you use the money? I mean, you said to drive sales, but I'm new to the consumer packaged goods or beverage industry. How do you actually create a buzz about a company like this?
Well, it's really done through brand ambassadorships with common everyday people, right, just like ourselves. And we just say, be an advocate for us, share our story, and help propel the brand forward, because this is going to be built by a community, not by just pushing sales and dollars into advertising into the market. And so, to your point, though, this type of funding is a bridge to raising a much larger round to be able to accelerate.
Imagine we raised a $10 million Series A right now. I don't know, how would you describe the use of the funds?
Well, certainly we make capital expenditure investments into small infrastructure facilities at each of the farms. So that allows us to bottle on site or pull directly off site and be more convenient and reduce our cost of goods structure and be more price point relative to the standard bottled water market. Additionally, we would invest in inventory to scale significantly with these retail partners, and then drive investments into a significant PR campaign and partnerships with folks like water.org and others that are looking around the sustainability component.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Do you feel like you need any critical people added to your management staff at this point?
We certainly do. Without a doubt, we're a small company, small team of people. Mike Hagan's not on board yet, so there's 2 of us, so imagine that. That's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, and the reality is we need folks in operations. We need folks in field marketing. We need folks in product development and R&D and continuing to build the team. So yes, we are actively looking for those people, and we can find, we can resource those from the industry. So.
I have one quick one before
Sure,
we pass
please.
it over to the catch box. Beverage is, particularly fickle.
Yes.
People are drinking a lot of sparkling water now. They weren't 5 years ago. Kombucha is huge. Nobody was drinking kombucha in volume 10 years ago. So what are your strategies to stay ahead of the fickle beverage drinker and industry?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. I mean, you think about the attention span of the average consumer. It's, oh, I tried that, I'm on to the next brand of, bagel chips or whatever it is you're consuming today and tomorrow, and suddenly your cupboard's filled with a bunch of stuff, and you're like, I don't even know this brand. The reality is that we're not educating people on a new consumption point. It's something that they do to the tune of $200 billion every year. We're educating people on quality, uniqueness, and trustworthiness of source. And so that just basically takes the adoption curve out of it, because it's not something that they currently don't do already, right? It's something that we do every day. So it's not like educating like around a coconut water or a kombucha. Why should I drink this because it's healthier? I need to drink this every day for
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where is our catch box, and where are some hands up of great questions from the audience? There we go. Let's do it.
Good catch.
Thanks. Can you speak a little bit about the packaging? It looks like a glass bottle, but
It is.
are you investigating, like, where does it come from? Are you investigating different packaging?
We are, and that's a fantastic question around packaging, which is relative to price points. So we're looking at anything from Tetra Pak for flat waters, which is a much more sustainable delivery mechanism overseas in terms of carbon footprint, aluminum packaging for different price points on the shelf and differentiated types of channels, and of course glass being the lowest carbon footprint from between PET, aluminum, and glass as a combined 3 types of packaging. That gives us a focus that I think many beverage companies, have largely ignored. They're either in one or the other, not multiples. So, yeah, great question. Thank you.
It doesn't seem like you control your supply. It seems like you have farms where you're getting your water. What's to stop your suppliers from going and starting their own business or partnering with one of your competitors and taking you out of the business?
Great question. We have long-term contracts that are auto-renewable with these farmers, and we represent their supply almost like as a cooperative-esque style company. Their focus is in sugar production. They do not have the equipment to process these byproducts. It would take multiple millions of dollars of investment on their part to do that. And if it was, Nestle coming and knocking or Coca-Cola coming knocking to their door, it would ultimately result in you don't have enough volume at one location or even 10 locations to make it interesting for them to compete. So where our innovation is not just in uniqueness and supply, or source. It's also in the supply chain and being able to, I think as the senator put, create a catalyst, a system for everybody to work together. So that's in the same way we do that. So great question. Thank you.
With the use of pesticides that are so prevalent in a lot of these tree farms, is there a concern about that with this product?
Well, this isn't actually a tree farm. These are actually native forests, maple forests that haven't ever had any pesticides applied. So, and they won't be. So they're all certified organic, and other than the bear in the woods, right, there's really nothing happening that would be of any concern. And then, and if there was, let's say, an acid rain or something like that would have fallen, the tree is such a great purifier when it consumes moisture from the earth, it doesn't reach our groundwater table, that when we test these products, we test every production lot, for all the bad things we're looking for in water, from radon, lead, chromium, argon, all those things. And every single test is none detected, none detected. There's 3 elements we find in our product consistently: manganese, potassium, calcium, and that's it, water.
Last question.
So, yeah.
How does your product address the problem of microplastics? I saw on one of your slides up there.
Well, glass packaging, which infinitely recyclable, and so most microplastics occur at the point of manufacturing. A blow molded hot bottle, then poured cold fill product into it. It's no wonder there's microplastics in those products. So that's why we chose glass as our first and foremost packaging type. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Adam, let's give him a hand.
Cheers,
Let's give him a
everybody.
nice
Thank you.
hand for starting things off.